Yo, what is up? We are back once again. It is Hoops and Brews. We haven't done this since the NBA Finals. I guess we could say actually a lot has changed in the NBA since the NBA Finals. Joe, how you doing? How you doing, brother? How you feeling?
What's good, man? I'm good. I'm good. Summer's off to a good start for me. Enjoying the weather's been amazing out here. I've been riding with the roof off last couple of days.
Right?
Feeling good. Spend time on the beach. Back active. I'm actually trying to become a full-time basketball player again. I'm in a little rec league. I've been working out. I'm feeling good, man.
Don't sprain your ankle again.
Following post hoops. I'm good. I wear two ankle braces now. I wear two ankle braces, and I got some new hoops. I got some Hardens.
Okay.
They pretty hard.
They work for you. They work for you. It's good for you.
They're working great. They're working great. Working good.
Okay. Yeah, obviously, congratulate the Boston Celtics. I mean, it's kind of old news now, but Boston Celtics, they won the championship, took care of business, did what they should have done. A lot has happened. I guess we can, well, actually, let's start with the NBA draft. Obviously, the NBA draft was, well, just 2-day draft now. I forget how you pronounce the bro name who got picked number one.
I can't even.
Yeah, I can't even pronounce bro name. All I know is bro from France, from the Hawks, went number one. The Hawks obviously have been a very active team. They got the number one pick. Before we started this pod, DeJounte Murray just got traded to the New Orleans Pelicans for, is it 2 first-round picks and Larry Nance?
Larry Nance, yeah.
2 first and Larry Nance. So the Hawks have been a very active team. I mean, I guess first and foremost, number one pick. What do you think about the Hawks' decision at number one? What do you also think this trade says about the direction they're taking? What do you think it says about? Do you think Trae Young is next to get traded? Do you think they just stick with Trae and the new guys and ride it out? What do you think? I guess.
I think with the number one pick, I know they kind of surprised people. I know Sar, apparently he didn't want to go there because he's a big, and they got Capella and they got Anya already. But I think with the number, what they were doing, I think they picked if you don't take the Sar guy, then I guess you're kind of stuck with this guy. But he looks, from what I've seen, he looks to be very raw. It's definitely not. It's not an impact pick. It's not a pick where you expect to throw him in there and play him 30, 35 minutes a night and expect him to produce. It's not that type of pick. It's a guy you're going to work with over time, and hopefully. And I mean, with making a pick like that, maybe they are in the direction of trading Trae Young, because he's not Trae Young at the point in his career where he's ready to win. He's had a small taste of winning. We've seen him in the conference finals. We've seen him lead decently Hawks teams top four seeds in the Eastern Conference. It seems like he's in a direction where he wants to win. You trade away arguably his second best player, and then you draft a guy first in the entire draft who's pretty much like just not kind of raw and not there yet. So it seems like they're moving in the direction to where they are, maybe just trying to tank a little bit, or just be a young team. They got some good young pieces. Obviously, one of the better young pieces in the league, Jalen Johnson. Onyeka was great last year in spots when Capella was out. He came in and held it down. They still got Herter, right? Or no, is it Herter?
No, he's not there. They have DeAndre Hunter still.
Oh yeah, DeAndre Hunter.
They just traded AJ Griffin. They have Bogdanovic still. So I mean, they like listen. I mean, I personally, I think you had to get rid of one of them. And obviously, it's a business first. You got to sell tickets. Trae is a guy who people will come to see. Also, think about Trae Young is like, what's equal value for Trae Young? Granted, I know we all have our thoughts about Trae Young, but Trae Young is still 25-10 on his worst day, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so he's still 25-10, pretty much on his worst day. So I mean, you have to be careful with that, because I don't know if you can, like, you may trade Trae Young and not be able to get back somebody else who is as good. I mean, you see what they got back for DeJounte Murray. They got back 2 picks, but they got, what is it? Is it whose picks are they?
I didn't see the details, but
I think one of them is, let's actually let me actually look before I speak on it. I think one of them is they got, actually no, they got Dyson Daniels, so that's a good pickup. They got Dyson Daniels. They got the 2020, they got the 2025 round, 2025 pick from the Lakers, and the 27th pick of the Bucks, and the least favorable pick of Bucks and Pels. I guess Dyson Daniels is probably the biggest asset they got from there. Dyson Daniels, he didn't really get too much of a chance to shine in New Orleans. Hopefully he'll get more of a chance to shine with the Hawks, and so maybe you want to run it like that. But what I'm saying is, you didn't get that much value. Like, you got a solid return, but it's not like you got like another all-star caliber player. And I think draft picks in this day and age have sometimes become the most overrated asset on planet Earth.
They aren't really valued in the NBA
like they're valuable, but at the same time, like, bro, you got the 2025 pick from the Lakers. I think the Lakers will be a decent team next year, right? I think that at worst you have the 19th pick in the draft.
Probably 9th. Yeah, at best, that's probably around the best. This year, Lakers were 17th. I mean, it's gonna be probably.
Yeah, it'd be like, yeah, you got like 17th,
like
like
48 games.
Yeah, like at that point, it's kind of like a crapshoot. You know, it's not like you trading it. Like, not you get like a top 5 pick. You get the least favorable of Bucks pairs, which is probably, I'm assuming, it's gonna be the Bucks pick in the Bucks or Pelicans pick in 2027. The least favorable. So now you even get like the best deal of it. So like some of these picks are overrated. So I think that you still have a solid young nucleus as far as the number 1 draft pick. I know he could shoot. He's like the 3-and-D type of wing. I think that, best case scenario, you hope he can turn into like a Mikal Bridges. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you hope you at least got Trevor Ariza. You know what I'm saying? A guy like that. Like I said, best case scenario, you got Mikal Bridges. Worst case scenario, you got like a Mikal Bridges. Or no, worst case scenario, you have a Trevor Ariza or like a Cam Johnson type of guy. So we'll see with him. But as far as the rest of the draft, man, what did you think about it? What do you think about these selections? Do you think there were any winners, losers? Give me your thoughts.
I think it was an interesting draft. They say it's literally the oldest draft in over 20 years.
Oldest draft?
Like as far as like the average age of players drafted.
Fair, that's interesting.
Yeah. A lot of players are 23-year-olds were drafted. A lot of 4-year seniors were drafted. A lot of older guys. I just I'm honestly I'm with the popular opinion on this draft. A lot of the guys were most people weren't familiar with. There was 3 Frenchmen took in the top 10. That's the first time.
By the way, we're getting smoked in 2028. We're not winning.
That's cap.
We're getting smoked in 2028, bro. We're not winning. We might not medal in 2028.
You gotta stop tweeting that. You
never heard smoked in 2028.
You never heard of John Morant?
Have you ever heard of Wemby, Rudy?
You never.
They're gonna be on the same team. So, in FIBA rules, we're not winning. But continue. We're not winning 2028. But continue.
But yeah, I'm kind of with the popular opinion on this draft. Like it was an older draft. A lot of the more of the big names would be next year. Next year you got Ace Bailey, you got Cooper Flag. But I thought it was a interesting. The draft was. I saw some of it. It was cool. I mean, older draft. Not too many big names in this draft. I don't really want to run with the narrative of it's not a deep draft just because of the bigger names, just because we don't know the top. Usually people will run with that. But I don't want to run with that. I think there could be some some good key contributors in this draft, but just because you don't know the name, I wouldn't want to make that assumption. I really like who the Lakers grabbed at 17. He had over like a couple 35-plus point games. He's athletic, 3-level scorer, can shoot it from deep. They also got obviously they picked up Bronny and they picked up another guy, Blake Pinson, out of I forgot where he came from, but he shot the ball very well. I like what the Lakers did. I didn't really pay attention to too many other teams and what they did. I think the Lakers, they made up for what they did last year when they picked a guy who hasn't really panned out just so far. I know it's only been 1 year. I like what the Minnesota Timberwolves did in acquiring Rob Billy for 2030.
And Terrence Shannon as well, who would have probably been a lottery pick had he not had the situation that he was acquitted of. I must say that he was. If he hadn't had that situation, he probably would have been a lottery pick. So I think the Timberwolves were a big one. I love them. They was like, oh, we ain't got enough offense. Bet we're gonna go out there and we're gonna get some offense. We're gonna go out there and get Rob Dillingham, who could maybe be like a Jamal Crawford spark plug type of guy. We'll go out there and we'll get a Terrence Shannon, a guy who's a lottery talent, late first round, who can also come in and get some buckets for you. For me, I love what the Spurs did. I love them picking up Steven Castle. Castle. If Castle can really be, I know they say he's like a bigger Drew Holiday. If he can really be like a bigger Drew Holiday paired with Wemby, I mean, Lord Jesus, that's an incredible defense. In 3, 4, 5 years. Also, I really like. I like Nikola Topic going to the Thunder. I know he's coming off of ACL, but if the Thunder, if there is one team who doesn't need a guy to come in and step in and play right away, it's the Thunder. They can wait 1 to 2 years for a guy. If allegedly he was the best pick and roll player in the draft, if he can come in and be that, you have Shea already. You just got Caruso. You got Giddey out the way. If he can come in and be a pick and roll player off the bench, and if he can also shoot the ball, maybe he can slide into that shooting guard position, or you can keep Caruso there, whatever it is, or he's your sixth man of the future, whatever it is. I just like that move for them, for that team, especially with the style of offense that they want to run. Also, I really like Donovan Clingan. I wish he wouldn't have went to the Blazers, but I get why he went to the Blazers. But I wish that he could have went to a team like the Grizzlies. I wish that he could have. I wish the Grizzlies could have jumped up to grab him. And I'm only saying that because the Blazers, granted, they have Rod Williams, who I think they'll probably move off of. But you also have Aiden. So, like, what does this say about what you're gonna do with DeAndre Aiden? You know, Aiden has 3 years. I think he has 3 years left on his deal at 141. So it's not with like the cap going up. It's not too crazy of a deal, but I think Clingan is a guy who can come in from day one and start and be a starter in the NBA. I'm not going to say that he's going to be like, some all-world type of guy, but I think he could at least be like a Jared Allen, a Walker Kessler, that level of a big who may be a guy who can make a, all-defensive team a couple times. Nick Claxton, who can maybe like an all-defensive type center in his league. So I like the pick. I just wish that he would have went somewhere else. Also, I really like, again, yes, I do love what the Lakers did. I think the Lakers made off. I think the Lakers made off pretty well. I think they won. I think they needed shooting, so they obviously addressed what they needed in shooting. Also, he is probably the most NBA ready player that they could have gotten at that pick. I understand why he fell down because he's a little bit of an older guy, but that's what the Lakers need. Obviously, you have LeBron James, you have Anthony Davis. So no matter if I think that they actually have an actual chance in contending, you're still in contention mode when you have those guys on the roster. And I know people were talking about Bronny. I don't have an issue with the Bronny pick. Here's why. The Bucks picked somebody from fucking Australia who averaged 2 points. AJ Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, this is his name. AJ Johnson literally went to Australia last year and averaged 2 points and 1 assist and got picked first round. First round. And he averaged 2 points and 1 assist last year. Bronny was a 55th pick. I have no problem with that, man. Like, bro. Agreed. I know talking about nepotism, bro. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. We talking about pick 55 and what's supposed to be a weak draft. Congratulations to the man. Again, I saw somebody who went first round who averaged 2 points. So I think the Lakers did what they should have done. I like the draft that they had. And yeah, I think we'll see as far as and also Montes Bucelis that the Bulls picked up. Who, if you did mock drafts a year ago or 2 years ago, I remember looking at him, he was the number 1 pick. He went to the G League Ignite. His draft stock fell a little bit, but he's a Chicago kid. He's going back to Chicago, a versatile wing, can shoot, dribble, pass. So we'll see, what he has to offer with what the Bulls are building out. And I think the most interesting pick in the top in the lottery is probably Zach Edey. A guy, I think it's the most interesting pick. We'll see how it pans out. Like sometimes I think that people look too much at what people can't do and forget what people can do. I think one thing you can't teach is size. Like if he could just be a imposing presence with Jaren Jackson, because Jaren Jackson don't want to rebound. He only gonna get you about 5 rebounds. If he can go out there and get you 10 boards, put his hands up and just do this. I mean, I think you may realistically have something. I think the one thing that the Grizzlies were missing was a rim protector, especially with Steven Adams being out for the whole year and maybe being on like the other side of his career. So, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me with the Zach Edey thing is obviously he's bigger. Him playing at Ja's pace kind of worries me sometimes. I don't know if I can see him getting up and down, the way the Grizzlies like to play. That's a big question mark there, I think. But besides that, yeah, I agree with what you said, the size and his ability to kind of impact the game off rip because he's going to be bigger than a lot of guys already from the jump. I think Kyle Flipowski from Duke. I think that was a good pickup in the second round for the Jazz.
I think it was a good pickup. I'm not gonna get into that, but the whole story that but I mean, he went to the perfect place, Utah. you went to the.
His family didn't agree with you. They don't. His family not endorsing that. His family ain't endorsing that shit.
Family is not endorsing that, but moving forward, obviously, I don't want to take too long today. But NBA offseason, it's shaping up to be a very, very interesting offseason. Mikal Bridges, they completed the Villanova 4. I guess we could start with there and the Knicks, because I think the Knicks are probably the most going to next season to me they're probably the most interesting team. Like I think they have a real shot at the finals next season. So I mean, I guess what do you think about the trade? OG is expected to re-sign. I think it was 5 years, 212.
212,
5 years, 212. So now you have a core of Brunson, Mikhail, OG, Randall. You still got Hart. You still got Dante. You still got Miles McBride. You still got Mitchell Robinson. Harkenstein may be a guy that you can't sign back, but you still have your core guys. Huh?
Mitchell's still under contract for next season?
I think he's still on contract for next season. I think he is.
Okay.
I think he is. I think he's on the contract, but Harkenstein isn't. I could be wrong, but I think he is.
Okay.
So what do you think about that? Like, man, what do you think about the Knicks? How excited are you? How excited are you about the trade? Yeah, what do you think about it?
I think it's fire. I mean, coming from somebody who's been pretty much actively watching the Knicks last 2-3 seasons, I think it's fire for them. I think it's also kind of, monkey see, monkey do move. Like you see Boston wins the championship with all these wings. So what do you do to retaliate the championship team? You kind of get the same thing. You get guys who can match up with them, guys who can make it tough on them. I think it was a big win now move from the Knicks, trading 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. Obviously, some of them are protected, but I think it's insane. That's more than Rudy Gobert, and that was more than Donovan Mitchell got in just off first-round picks. I think that's you can argue that's a lot. But I think that when you have what you have now with New York and you have that core, you have that winning atmosphere that you built up over the last couple of years. The Knicks have been in the playoffs, I believe, 3 years in a row now. They went to the second round twice, 2 years in a row. First round the year before that. And you just building up on this momentum. The city of New York has been amazing. I watch it from afar. I can tell the vibes and just the energy out there is hype. So you go out there, you ride this energy out. You continue this winning culture. You build around Jalen Brunson, who I believe has honestly proved himself to be pretty much a tier 1 superstar. You take a ton of pressure off of him because there was a lot of times last year in the playoffs when Jalen Brunson is literally there be plays in overtime and late in the fourth quarter when you need a bucket, and you got Jalen Brunson literally dribbling the ball 22, 23 seconds on the shot clock and then throwing up some shit. Like now I feel like you take a ton of pressure off of him. Obviously they were injured last year as well, so that's probably why a lot of that happened. But you take a ton of pressure off him moving forward. You got guys who can guard, guys who can make up for. Jalen Brunson, obviously, he's a smaller guard. You might have some people one of the biggest issues with him is his ability to defend. You got 3-4 all-world defending wings on this team at one time. You're talking Mikal, OG, Hart. These guys play hard. They get around. They match up. They're lengthy. They can shoot. They do all this stuff to cover for Jalen Brunson's deficiencies. And you, like you said, you keep a Mitchell Robinson for rim protection. And still, I'm very interested to see. I'm not 100% balled in on how Randall is going to fit into this. But I think that I believe he's under the contract for 2 more years, and I think he only makes around 25, 26 million a year. If they can just run it out, maybe test it out to All-Star break, see how he fits with them, and then you can use him as an asset. You're going to get some picks back, or however that plays out. I think you give him a shot. But I think that they're building one hell of a team, one hell of a nucleus in New York. You also still got Dante DiVincenzo. You got the roster is built out well. They love Tibbs. He set a great culture down there in New York. I think that they're putting all the chips in and they want to win now. Pretty much, this is probably the heading into the season, probably the best Knicks team on paper since 1999. If we keeping it since the last time.
Oh no, this is the best Knicks team on paper since 94.
94.
94.
That's fair, but I think that they are moving in the correct direction as a team that feels like they can compete with any of these teams out in the East. Obviously, Boston is the top of it, but they matched up with them. Milwaukee's kind of a mess right now with the whole Dame thing. Philadelphia, Embiid's always hurt. Indiana's on the come up, but it's just a lot of question marks in the East. And I think they go out there and they trying to get rid of a lot of these question marks, and they want to stamp themselves as a contender. And I think they've done a great job of that so far. We'll see if they can bring back Hartenstein, who was huge for them. A lot of people forget last year Mitchell Robinson was out most of the year. Hartenstein stepped into that starting role and played absolutely amazing. They don't get as far as they get and win as many games as they do. Hartenstein doesn't come in and do what he did for that team. So even if they can bring it back, even if it is off the bench as insurance for Robinson, Hartenstein, I know the tax rules are bad. Maybe I saw a way they can
do a cheaper option for you though. Yeah. I have a cheaper option. I saw that they were interested in Andre Drummond.
Oh, but Drummond, I don't know. He ain't no Hartenstein, but he's definitely 1,000 times cheaper than Hartenstein.
He's a better rebounder. I think Hartenstein is a better passer, but Drummond can make a pass too.
Drummond can't shoot free throws.
He cannot shoot free throws.
He's just a little too. He can't. I don't think he can protect the rim. Like and he's not really a threat. Hartenstein has a little floater from the mid range.
He can get you some points, man.
That's right under the rim.
Yeah, but like you would assume that you would need less from him with the added weapons if you can stay healthy this year. That you would need less from here than what you would ask Hartenstein to do if you could stay healthy.
It's a reasonable downgrade, so I'm not mad. It's a reasonable downgrade that you probably don't have a choice but to make because of the fact that you're so strapped with the cap and you don't want to end up in that first and that second apron because that shit is crazy. The penalties for not being in those aprons is insane. So if you want to avoid those by all costs, I think they can do something. Maybe I'll hate to see him go. Maybe shed Miles McBride, and then maybe like you said, instead of Hartenstein, go with like a Drummond or something. But if they want to avoid that tax apron, that'd be all. They could also ship Randall for some picks. But there's plenty of options with this team, and I really like what they're doing, making it very clear that they want to be they want to come out the East next year.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, when I grade the trade as far as like the McHale trade, I think it was perfect. I mean, yes, they got more picks than those other teams did for Rudy and Donovan, but I think what people had to realize is, for one, Rudy's contract situation wasn't favorable. He's getting like 200 and he was on a supermax. So like that contract situation isn't favorable. Mitchell was, I think, also a 2-year deal, so you don't even know if he's going to re-sign. Mikal Bridges on a very favorable contract.
Yeah, really good contract. 2 years,
really good contract.
25,
really good contract.
Yeah.
He's in. I don't think they have any doubt in their mind he's gonna re-sign for the long haul. So I think the 5 picks, it was what you gave up 5 picks and Bogdanovich. 4 of the picks not even gonna be good because I'm assuming the Knicks gonna be a very good team, a 50-win team for the foreseeable future. So we're talking about the 24, 25th, 26th, 27th pick in the draft. Not to say you can't get a player at that stage in the draft, but it's increasingly rare to get a starting quality player at that point in the draft. The best pick they gave up is the Bucks pick, I think, in 2029. The Bucks might fucking suck in 2029. They might be awful. So that pick, fair. You might have got like the top 5 pick in 2029 because the Bucks might suck then. But you gave up 5 picks. That's probably gonna be like maybe a guy who you get a rotation player. Maybe you get a starter out that group for McHale, who's on a decent deal. You don't even get into cap hell with this team. The only person on a max is OG. And the cap about to go up. So OG's max, he don't have a super max. He got the regular max and the cap about to go up.
Mm-hmm.
You can still run it with this team, see how Randall fits in. If Randall doesn't fit in, which I think he does fit in because you still need his creativeness.
Yeah, exactly.
He's still probably your second best playmaker. He's still probably, as far as when it comes to putting the ball on the floor and getting the bucket, still probably your second best, arguably maybe your best at times because Jalen Brunson, he is 6 feet. And sometimes when you are 6 feet, I know he did some, heroic things in this playoffs, but the deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper you go, let's say you got to do that against Drew Holiday and Derek White. I think it's a little different doing against Drew Holiday and Derek White than they're doing against Nembhard and Halliburton. I would just say I think it's a little different. So sometimes Randall still might be your best option when it comes to putting the ball on the floor and actually going to get a bucket. But I love what they did, bro. And even from just a size wise, I think that they were too small last year. You had Dante and Brunson in your backcourt, brother. You not you got 6'3" under in your backcourt. Now we got Brunson and we got trees. We got Brunson, everybody else 6'7" and above. You got Brunson, you got McHale, you got OG, you got Randall, you got whoever at center. You can match up with whoever, and realistically, I think you could beat whoever. I don't see why this team cannot be an NBA Finals team next year. Now, granted, obviously, they're gonna have contract situations in about 2 years, but you come to that bridge when you come to that bridge. Also, you hope all these guys know each other, and again, they won in college. I don't think you can ever take out liking somebody, liking your teammates. I don't think that you can ever discount that. I think that one of the things about the Knicks was you could tell they all played for each other. There was no egos. They liked each other. You could tell that this season when they played, which is what made you, root for this basketball team. The only thing that you hope is that the Villanova 4 don't outcast the rest of the locker room. They bring the rest of the guys with them. And it's not like those Villanova guys and then everybody else, they lock us all right here and Randall way over there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that doesn't happen. But Yeah, so I think this was a great deal for them. I know people talking about the picks, bro. Fuck them picks. I'm all for fuck them picks, bro. Like, bro, fuck them picks unless you don't know what kind of squads you're gonna have in 4 years. Ain't none of these guys even 30. I think it's about like 4 years so these guys even get like 30 for real.
They got a young core.
Yes, we have a very, very, very young core in the Eastern Conference. Granted, I think Boston should be the favorites to repeat as I look around the league, but we already talked about Porzingis going to be gone to start the season. You already know how Porzingis' injury issues is.
I think they did win a ton of games with him being out last season. I think they won. I think it was like 30-5 with Porzingis out last season, something like that. They could.
I don't think Porzingis missed that many games, bro. He missed 35 games last season. I don't think it was 35 games, bro. Let me go look at that. I don't think it was 35 games last season. KP last season, he played 57 games. What's 57 minus? It might be around like
minus 82. What's that?
It might. You might be. It's like 23.
Okay. Oh, okay. He played 57.
Yeah. It's like 26, something like that. 25 games. Yes, but you talk about Horford, another year older. You know what I'm saying? So like he's going to be 39 at this point. Also, I don't really know what additions they can really make to their team. So I'm just saying, when I like look at the Eastern Conference, I think, granted, we got to see what Philly does and what everything else happens. But I think the Eastern Conference is pretty much wide open. So at that point, why not go for it, bro? So, yeah. But moving on, I want to talk about my hometowns. I know y'all talk about the Hawks in the thing. We talked about the Hawks. I'm sorry if you missed it. We talked about the Hawks. We came more with that deal because it just happened as we had logged online. But I want to talk about obviously the OKC and Chicago made a trade. Caruso for Josh Giddey. I guess, what do you think about it? What do you think about the direction that the Bulls are going in, direction that the Thunder are going in? What do you think about the trade? Starting with the Thunder first.
Starting with the Thunder first. I think it's a great pickup for the Thunder. There was a lot of times with Josh Giddey, even though he didn't have a bad season at all last year. He filled the stat sheet up a lot of games. Actually, he gets you points, rebounds, and assists. He sees the floor well. He struggles with his shooting. There's times he was an offensive liability where teams literally just leave him open, and he wouldn't be able to capitalize on that. And that's obviously a huge issue for any team that's contending, and you want to make a deep push into the playoffs. So times that he looked out of place, despite the fact that he did produce. So I think that replacing him with a guy like Caruso, I think it was a big time move for OKC. You also think about it like this: you're pairing Caruso with Dort, so that's going to be your wing. That's terror. So that's automatically is a deep upgrade defensively. Now, offensively, Caruso, I'm pretty sure he's shooting at least 35% from three. He also brings a championship pedigree. He won a championship with the Lakers in 2020. And this is a team that wants to compete. They were the number one seed last year. They competed like hell against Dallas this year in the semifinals.
Could have won.
You still, huh?
They could have won.
Yeah, they could have won, exactly. And some people would argue they didn't win because Giddey's inability to capitalize on those situations where he was being a lot of time kid. He'd implement defensive schemes where, let him beat us. If Giddey beats us, that's fine. That's fine. I think Caruso will find a way to be effective off ball. We've seen him do it multiple times in the past, whether it was with the Lakers when he won a championship or even last year with the Bulls. Caruso, whether if it's slashing off the ball, whether if it's spotting up, whether if it's catching a lob, finishing like that, he will find a way to be productive off ball. And playing with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's exactly what you need. You need guys who will be productive off ball because Shai is perfectly fine with the ball all game. The man is a high usage, high volume scoring machine, efficient scoring machine. So you need guys like Caruso to make his job easier on both ends. I think it was a great pickup for OKC. I like what they did to bring an all defensive guard to pair him with Dort. That takes a lot of pressure off of Shai defensively, and it makes your wing defense a lot better. You want to go? Want me to go from the Bulls' perspective?
No, we can keep it with the Thunder real quick. I think the most important underrated part about the trade, number one, yes, Caruso's defense, and now you have Caruso and Dort, which is hell for a lot of people. That's like a lot to get past for most teams. But I think the biggest stat of it all is it's going to last 2 years, right? So 22-23, Caruso took 50% well, he took 49% to be specific of his threes from the corner and shot 40%. This year he took 36% of his threes from the corner and shot 39.7%, which is basically 40%. Basically, he's a 40% corner 3-point shooter. He's basically a 40% 3-point shooter in general. So if he took 50% of his threes from the corner, in the year I'm talking about, and that year he took how many threes in total? He took 2 threes. So basically, most of his threes come from the corner for the most part. And he took 5 threes last year, and I think 39% of them came from the corner. Basically, he can hit a corner 3. Having that with Shea, having that with Jalen Williams. So 2 of the guys are probably going to be handling the ball most of the time. Obviously, Jalen Williams didn't have the best finals, when the best conference semifinals, and they still almost won. Like, if they would have hit 10 more threes, 15 more threes, they probably would have won that series. Like, let's be real. If they hit 15 more threes, that's their series to win for the most part. So that they weren't that far off in general. And I don't think that they needed big changes. I think that Giddey, I fuck with Giddey, and we'll get to Giddey later on. I fuck with Giddey. I also think that Giddey's situation had a lot to do with him leaving, and also with his play this season. He can say it didn't, but I think his situation had probably a lot to do with it. So I love the deal for them. Again, you get a veteran, a guy who can defend. You open up space for Shea to be able to create. You open up space for Jalen Williams, and again, you got the other guys just growing. Also with the draft pick that they made, like, even if I don't know how old Caruso is 29 years old. It's not like he's ancient. You know what I'm saying? He's still, somewhat of a young player. He knows what it takes to win. He's been a part of winning basketball. And with all the other guys you have, and you still got $30 million in cap space, which I think will be really interesting to see how they feel this $30 million. Do you go out?
So OKC.
Do you go out and you get a Harkenstein? Do you go out and you get a Clay? Is there a guy where maybe you want to just trade for somebody and just absorb them? Do you try to go get a Laurie Marketing? You know what I'm saying? Like, could you put together a deal where, they would feel comfortable letting go a Laurie, and you get Laurie in there? So I think there's many ways that the Thunder can go with this team, because again, they weren't far off last year. Again, like, if they hit a couple, like, they lost that series shooting, I don't know what they shot as a team for 3, but it was terrible what they shot as a team for 3. If they just make a couple more of those shots, that's them going to the West Conference Finals, and once you get to the Conference Finals, who knows what will happen. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, as a team, they shot from 3 in that series. They shot 33% as a team from 3. If they shoot 38, they win the series. And this is with the Mavericks shooting 39, basically 40%.
What they shoot from 3 in the regular season? I know that's a huge drop off from 3 in the regular season. I know they shot at least 35 in the regular season, at least bare minimum, right?
They shot 38%.
38, yeah.
They were the number 1 3-point percentage shooting team in the league. So basically, they shot 48% from 3, and they shoot. So if they shoot what they, granted, obviously it's the playoffs, things there, but if they shoot a little bit better, that's them moving forward. So I don't think that they were that far off. But we could switch it and take it to the Bulls side of things. For the Bulls, I know I talked about this a couple weeks ago last week when the trade first went down, and Bulls fans were like, how did they not get a pick? What the fuck? They didn't get a pick for this deal or whatever. I think that Josh Giddey's playoff showing and also Josh Giddey's situation throughout the year have people tripping about who Josh Giddey is as a basketball player. Josh Giddey can play basketball.
Agree, for sure.
I just don't think he fit with this Thunder team anymore, especially with what you see Shea is doing. I mean, Shea is an MVP candidate. You're gonna let Shea handle the ball, and if Josh Giddey isn't the best shooter, fuck is his point on the team for? Like, we already have Shea. If you can't shoot the ball, we're not gonna give you the ball over Shea. Like, what the hell? So, I think that like I said, I think that Josh Giddey's playoff performance and everything else had people kind of tripping on Josh Giddey, but I think it was an even trade. When the fuck I like Caruso, but when did Caruso become Drew Holiday? Like, I like Caruso. He ain't that damn good though. Like, it was a very even trade. I don't think that they needed to get a pick. And I know people talk about, why they couldn't get picks, bro. The pick you were probably gonna get for Caruso, like you said, we were in group chat, so you were like, well, they got offered 2 first-round picks for Caruso. The teams that probably wanted Caruso are probably contending teams. Goes back to what I said. Sure, they probably offered you 2 first-round picks. Those first-round picks were probably the 26th pick in the draft. This draft is a weak draft. Granted, you may be able to find some people, but when you pick in that late, at that point, it's a crapshoot. You may get a guy, you may not get a guy. And the guy you get is probably not going to be better than Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, I'm going to go out on a limb. I think Josh Giddey could win Most Improved Player next season.
Well, that's hell of a limb.
I think Josh Giddey, granted, if the Bulls do a complete roster turnover, which I think they should, the only way this makes sense, and if they do get Levine, thank you for your service, bye. If DeMar want to come back, don't even pick up the phone. I love you, DeMar. No, don't even answer the phone for that man. No.
Vucevic, they got to pay somebody.
No, they don't.
Yes, they got to pay.
Listen.
Cap minimum is 80.
They gonna get salary back for Zach anyway. He can have the damn salary cap. Whoever you gonna line up, cool. If you want to throw Patrick Williams some money, cool. Get Vooch off the books, take some bad contracts, do what you need to do, but restart this basketball team. Restart this team. Because like you're not going anywhere. You're not gonna be good with this squad at all. And so just restart it. And again, I think Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Io, if you really want to re-sign Patrick Williams, go ahead, go re-sign Patrick Williams. But I think that they did what they should have done again, as long as they actually have a plan to restart this roster. I think they did exactly what they should have done for this team. And I don't have an issue with it. And again, I'll go out on a limb, but I think Josh Giddey can win Most Improved Player next season. If Josh Giddey this season averaged like 14, 6, and 5, I think he can give you 18, 6, and 7.5 next season. I think he could be a triple-double threat every single night.
That's pretty much his whole career. He's been a triple-double threat. The big thing for me with this trade is, this is for me, I'm coming from a different perspective as you. Assuming they do want to keep the roster intact, I think that they, what I saw in this trade, the first year Lonzo Ball got there was 2021. The Bulls were a 1 seed when they had a high level playmaker. Obviously,
he was a fluky 1 seed, but yes, yes.
I don't. When Lonzo Ball was on the court, I mean, I think if Lonzo Ball stays on the court that year, I don't know how far
they lose in the first round.
But I think when Giddey, they see a lot of Lonzo Ball, and I agree with that. They're very similar archetype type players. Obviously, Giddey can't shoot the ball as well as Lonzo, and he isn't that athletic, but he brings a lot of characteristics to the Bulls that Lonzo Ball brings to the Bulls. And obviously, the Lonzo Ball project seems to be over. He's approaching his last year in his deal. There's rumors saying he wants to come back. There's videos of him dunking and stuff, but I mean, they're probably just kind of over that situation. That I'm hearing a buyout is possible. So I feel like they just needed. It seemed they needed someone to set the table. Kobe White, obviously, I had an outstanding year. Almost one most improved player, hell of a player. Playmaking is not really his thing. Ayo doing something new.
Not to the playmate.
Not a playmaker. The guards they have, I think Levine, DeRozan, Bucci Man, Drummond, and those guys, they need someone to kind of push the pace for them and set the table. Josh Giddey is the perfect guy for that. They have not had that since Lonzo Ball went down with his knee injury. So I feel like you get a guy who can get the ball in their hands, take the pressure off of them. And I think the Bulls, as we've seen from multiple general manager reports, they don't really want to compete. Like, they don't really want to be a contender. They want to be one of those 8, 9 seeds or whatever. They want to be in that area. That's the perfect move for them. So I think this is a good move to take some pressure off the guys that they're number 1 and number 2 options, get them in place to have a better offense and keep filling the seats in Chicago. And I think that it was a good move. I'm not mad.
To hell with all that. You got to break it all down. I swear to God, they saw that. You got to break it all down. Like, no, because again, even with this move, like defensively, you're not going to be the same. I fuck with Giddey, but defensively, he's not. Like, yes, Lonzo had the playmaking, but also it was his defense, and you had Caruso. Like, you had 2 great defensive guards, and now that you don't have anymore. So hell no, to hell with all that. You need to break it all down. It wasn't working. Restart, but and we can end on this probably. But the biggest story of the offseason, Paul George. I think at this point in time, I think LeBron was a story, but I mean, obviously, Bron's not leaving. They drafted your son. You're not leaving. You're going to play with your son. By the way, what are you going to do on the first Bronny to LeBron lob?
Screen.
What are you going to do?
Screen. Run across the house.
Are you going to buy a LeBron James Jr. jersey?
I could see it. I mean, I could see it. I mean.
Also, what number does Bronny pick?
He picked 9, I believe.
He picked 9?
Chris Robert, I think he picked 9. Yeah.
6 upside down, 9. That makes sense. Nah, for real. It's like 6. I turned the 6 upside down. It's a 9 now. But yeah, no, like, yeah, like I actually can't wait for that. But the Paul George situation, I think the deal breaker is the Clippers don't want to add a 4th year. PG wants a 4th full max year. I think he has until I think it's tomorrow to either accept or decline his player option. So we'll see what happens with Paul George. But what do you want to see happen with Paul George? And actually, I have one other thing after this, but it kind of ties in to what I'm saying, so I'll bring it in. But what do you want to see happen with Paul George?
My personal, what I would like to see, my personal in the perfect world for me, I kind of want to see him end up in Golden State. To be honest with you, I know there's been rumors there, and if Clay walks, I believe that there's a way that they can, if it's whether a signing trade or I believe if Clay walks, they might have enough cap space to sign him outright. But I think that I like to see him in Golden State. I mean, I don't want to see Steph Curry riding away his years as a 10th seed in Golden State. I want to see him with another guy who can get a bucket from the wings, catch and shoot from the wing, guard the best player, take a lot of pressure off of him. I like to see him take his talents there if possible in the perfect world for me. I would like to see Steph get another running mate, and I don't want to see him, just right away his last couple years. I think he'd help Kuminga develop. I think he'd be good with Draymond. I think he'd be good with those a core group of veteran guys. I think that Paul George, obviously at this point in his career, he probably wants to win. Probably wants to be around guys that are older, just like him. It's an older locker room over there. You got a veteran coach and Steve Kerr, championship veteran coach. You probably learn a ton from those guys. I just think that's the best scenario for him, and I think it's the best scenario probably for Curry and those guys. I think there's a way they can pull that off. I know that's like the least I know, obviously.
No, I think they got to like sign and trade. I think they had to like Chris Paul, Wiggins. You probably had to give him like some picks, and that's a lot for fucking PG. Chris Paul, Wiggins, maybe take Moody and give a pick, send over PG. PG want the full max. But so you give him the 4-year max.
But yeah, I think a running mate like that in Golden State was still. I think that'd be fun to watch. I'd love to see him in a system like that. I think he can play. He can play in Clay's role, and he can come off and kind of play even like kind of a similar Durant role when he was in Golden State. I think he's very versatile. I think he fit right in, plugged right into what they like to do over there. And I think it'd be good for Golden State. I don't want to see Steph ride away these next couple of years as a 10th and 11th seed every year. I want to see Steph on the bigger stages, and I want to see him out there on these national TV games with guys around him who can also play. But that's just me though.
I'm not mad at that. As far as I think this would tell a lot about PG's priorities. I don't think that would. I don't. If you just want to open a new stadium up, and have fun in LA and ride the, because it's probably your last big deal, right? I mean, maybe you play post this contract, but I think PG is 33, 34 years old now, which is crazy to think that PG is that damn old. But I mean, he has been released since 2010. But PG, right? Paul Mills said Paul George is how old is PG? PG is 34 years old. He just turned 34. Yeah, so if you get a 4-year deal, that puts you at 38 years old. Everybody's not LeBron, so this is probably your last deal. Basically, this is probably your last deal. You're probably going to retire with this. So, I mean, I guess we'll see what PG values. This is actually crazy because, like, when you play 2K, like, they have him start declining immediately, and you're like, oh, what's going on? But, like, he is 34 years old. Like, this is the age that people.
Yeah, it's wild. I remember the young days, too.
Yeah, so this is, like, his probably last deal. Also, fuck, but whatever. Yeah, it's probably his last deal. So, I think we'll see what PG's priorities are. Is it to win, or do you just want to go somewhere, to hang out in LA, be around and do that for the rest of your career? Whatever you want to do, it's on you. You have completely earned the right to do whatever you want to do. But I think we'll find.
First time he's been an unrestricted free agent. The first time he's been an unrestricted free agent in his career. So he's
facts. Yeah. So we'll see what he wants to do. For me, it's not gonna happen. But also, a couple things. I think a very big thing is that everybody's kind of low key this offseason was KCP opted out his deal.
Yeah. Philly.
KCP opted out his deal.
Philly.
I would love a Michael Porter Jr. for Paul George signing trade.
Michael Porter Jr. for
Paul George signing trade. If you can retain KCP.
I mean, I guess that works. I mean,
it works. I've done it mad times. It works. A Michael Porter Jr. for KCP signing trade.
I mean, well, that definitely is better for the Clippers. I mean, or you see, City might be losing Russ. I mean, I'm not Michael Porter. They don't. Spot up, high value spot up guy. It's kind of would be nice on the Clippers.
What about for the Nuggets? You don't fuck with PG for the Nuggets?
I do fuck with it, but it's just kind of.
He could shoot 40%. He could put he could put the ball on the floor. He's not who he once was defensively. He could put the ball on the floor way better than Michael Porter Jr. Have you seen MPJ with the ball on the floor?
They didn't need him to do that. I mean, they kind of needed him to do that this year.
Yes, the fuck they did need him to do that this year.
They did get exposed.
They kind of needed him to do that.
If you replace Michael Porter Jr. with Paul George, they beat the Timberwolves.
Listen. If they can retain KCP, I think it's one of the biggest stories of the offseason that probably nobody is talking about, but KCP opting out because I think KCP can go somewhere. I think somebody would be willing to I won't even say overpay because he's a 2-time champion.
Yeah, KCP.
So I want to say overpay, but I think somebody will be offered, like, what if Philly goes out and say, Clay, here's, I don't know, fucking $100 million, and KCP, here's 50. Fuck it, come on. So, I think that's one of the biggest stories of the off season. But yeah, PG, man, I just think that we'll see a lot about what what his values are. I think the Clippers as a whole is a very interesting situation. Allegedly, Russ probably isn't coming back. He's probably going to offer more money and more opportunity. I don't know where that's going to be. I think that the Clippers was a cool situation for him, but also he may feel a way about Harden coming over, because he was a starting point guard. He was playing great. Actually, he's playing great. Harden comes over, you bench him, so he may feel a way about that. Even Paul George's comments when he commented on we had a really good rhythm, and then Harden came, it was kind of a weird comment to say. So and then you may be frustrated with the Kawhi situation, who every year it seems like he can't stay healthy. Also with the way the way you guys lost in the playoffs, I still don't think that you guys should have lost the way that you lost. So you may be frustrated when maybe see if you can try to win one or just play more competitive basketball as your career winds down. And listen, I'm not mad at the Warrior situation. Also, we can't deny that he has a budding media career. So I also think wherever you go has to make sense for that part of his career also. Obviously LA makes sense for it. Granted, you have the internet now, so things can kind of be whatever. But at the same time, you don't want to get stuck in Orlando. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to get for real. You don't want to be stuck in. I think it makes everything progressively harder if you're in Orlando.
Philly would be solid though. Philly wouldn't be bad for that.
I mean, yeah, you like an hour away from New York. It could happen, whatever. But still, I just think you make everything progressively harder depending upon where you go. So I wouldn't mind the Warriors thing. I see, somebody put up a lineup of, Curry, Paz, PG, Kuminga, Draymond. It's a solid lineup. That's like a solid 2.0 iteration of the Warriors. I think the Clay thing is kind of unfortunate, but all good things have to come to an end. And I also think that at this point in Clay's career, Clay could actually probably be better served somewhere else and still have an impact. If Clay goes to OKC, if Clay goes to the Magic, if Clay goes to Philly, I think these are all. It's not like Clay was bad last year. These are all places where Clay could go. I know we don't have Thomas here to do the Klay Thompson trade machine, but if Clay, I think these are all places Clay could go and still have some level of a impact. But before we get out of here, is there anything else that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, I want to touch on. I kind of want to talk about Angel Reese for a little bit. I watched the Sky versus Aces game yesterday. Yesterday they got a welcome to the league moment. Cardoso and Reese was matched up with Aja. She came out and had 25. Aja came out and had 25. I think the first half finished with around 32. I think that it was a hell of a game. You said Aja, right?
Yeah, Aja.
She's exceptional, by far the best player in the league.
For sure.
And Angel still came out there and she still competed. I think she finished with 18 and 11. The big thing with Angel, she's a generational rebounder off rip. The big thing with her is if she can get her finishing together and somewhat develop a jump shot, she could be one of the biggest bigs in the WNBA history. The fight she plays with and the horsepower in her, she don't stop. She goes she goes at you no matter who you are. I saw a couple of possessions where she matched up with Aja. She didn't shy away at all. I've been very impressed by her. I think Trinity Carter has been great at getting downhill. where she hurts though. The Sky is also a very weird team. They got Cardoso and Reese both in at the same time most of the time, and I think it's kind of insane because I mean the court's not that much space on the court. So shout out to Trinity for still.
I don't know why I don't want to cut you off. I don't know why in the W they still do this. Like the W tweaks me. No, it's not even that. It's like the W tweaks me out because it's like, all right. So how tall is Cardoso?
At least 6'8", I believe. I mean,
she's not 6'8".
She's taller or shorter?
I don't think she's 6'8" though, bro.
How taller or shorter?
She got probably like 6'6", 6'5". She's 6'8".
I'm looking right now. She's huge, bro. Let me see.
It's gonna even go more to my point then. My point is, I don't know why everybody can't shoot.
She's 6'7".
I don't know why everybody can't shoot. Right? Like she is a size where you, in theory, should be taking more threes. Huh?
Does she shoot threes at all? I didn't see her shoot
threes. But I'm saying, like, that's my only gripe with the W sometimes. It's like, yo, like, actually, if you 6'6", you should probably be taking more threes. Like, you are a shooting guard size. You probably should. So I'm thinking, like, when they play two bigs and like the W, like, I just think that everybody should be able to shoot or pass, dribble, shoot. Like everyone should be able to shoot. It shouldn't just be a 5'9" guard's decision to shoot. Like you actually should probably shoot less threes than somebody who's 6'4". Because in theory, you can get the ball to the ring. You have a better advantage at shooting the basketball. So like with the two big things, like, I just don't know why. And yes, I agree with you. Angel needs to get a jump shot. She actually has like I've like seen her warm up and shoot. Like the rotation on the ball is solid. I think her form needs to get better. But the rotation on the ball is solid. And I'm with you. If she can, get to be able to actually creating her own buckets better. I think, if you already getting 20, not 20, well, 15 and 10 in your sleep, and you added some offensive creation to that, that's 22 and 12. Huh?
She's like 38% from the field or something crazy. Even though majority of her shots come from in the painted area, she shoots like 35% from the field or something.
Yeah, like if you can get that to 50, that's crazy. And also for a big, shooting 38% is terrible. You need to be about like 50 if all your points is coming from in the paint. But yeah, I just think shout out Angel. I think that just as a whole, just following, obviously I'm from Chicago, so I follow Chicago people, and just seeing the level of interest that she's bringing to the game from women, which I think is like the most actually. You're not mad about it. I wouldn't mind Russ off the Nuggets bench. It would be kind of cool. I wouldn't be mad at that.
He's shooting 40% from the field. He need to go to Phoenix, reunite with KD.
I wouldn't mind that either.
They need a fucking point.
They do need a fucking point guard. But yeah, no, just a level of excitement that she's bringing in for women. I'm seeing women who 2 years ago would have never ever went to a WNBA game, but because they know the name Angel Reese, and they know the personality of Angel Reese. It's something that the city can get behind. So shout out Angel for that. Shout out the whole WNBA, man. I think it's been a great season. I think that the Olympics will also do wonders for them as well. Because these ladies will be on a bigger stage. They're definitely going to win gold. They'll be on a bigger stage, coming back and rounding the season out. I think it'll be huge. And I think that, from here on out, I think we've been into a different era in the WNBA. And again, these athletes are just much more skilled. Like when I first started covering the game 5-6 years ago, these players are much more skilled, much more skilled than what they were. Huh?
Happened quick, the transition.
Sure, yeah. I think we just learned how to train athletes better. And again, I mentioned this as well. We're just now getting to the point where like the women who are getting drafted always saw the WNBA as a career path. Like the shit started in 1997. We just now getting to the point where you got people who were born in 2000 getting drafted, right? Like people my age, I remember like I remember it always being there, but there was also a world without that. Meaning like your parents even look at things differently. With how serious they take you playing the game and training for the game differently when they grew up in a world where it didn't exist, right? Like if, I don't know, you're born in 80s and, you're a parent and your daughter is 18, you look at it differently because of for the most part, you've seen it most of your whole life. Well, when I'm a parent, I've seen it my whole life for the most part. So, and my daughter wouldn't even have a concept of a world where that didn't exist, which I think in turn has an impact on the training and how seriously they take it and things of that nature. But if you don't have anything else to say, we can leave it there.
No, but yeah, definitely, I agree. Women's basketball came a long way. I coached a youth women's team to a championship this year.
Shout
Exceptionally
out
talented.
you.
Yes, exceptionally talented young women on the team from top to bottom. It's came a long way to sport, and hopefully, I've been a fan pretty much the last 3-4 years, and I just think it's looking forward to what they got for the rest of the year. I know this year's been kind of compact because of the Olympics, and they're playing a lot of games.
Boy, they got Kaylin on TV every damn day, boy. I
And
know she's tired, boy.
I'll be watching. Kaylin is hella great entertainment. The teams are just so like there's such like you know what I randomly thought watching the Fever game, like I would pay Mike D'Antoni $1 billion to coach
that team.
Coach Fever. Oh my god! Like just replace a couple of pieces with some more shooters and some guys who run the floor. Mike D'Antoni coaching the Indiana Fever would be so.
Yeah.
Like that's just a red light I thought I had watching the game, but like that'd be crazy. And we could wrap it up on that. But yeah.
For sure. But as always, man, thank y'all for watching. We had to take a little time off because I was tired of talking. I be doing pods like every damn day. Sometimes I be tired of talking, but we are back. Off-season talk. Obviously, we get into free agency. I'll be very interested to see, what other moves get made, what other trades get had, happen. It's been, I think, a very interesting off-season already. So yeah, man. Until next time. Well, as always, you can follow me on Twitter at pavyworld, pavyworld, all one word. Joe, tell them where the people can find you at.
You know, Instagram, Joel R. Wilson. Twitter at the Jolt with 2 S's, THEJOLTSS. Thank y'all for tuning in. Good episode, Pavy. This is fun, bro.
My dog. We'll holler at y'all.